guys, welcome to the Large Marge Sent Us podcast, the podcast about your favorite childhood movies and your not-so-favorite ones. I'm Sweetie.
And I'm Sweetie.
And tonight we are discussing the highly controversial sort of favorite flick, E.T.
Why is it highly controversial?
I don't know. Well, when we brought this up on Twitter, most everybody said they did not like it, which I was surprised about because I thought it was a family, like a classic.
Yeah.
Classics.
It's like number 10 on top, like American Film Institute top 100 movies.
What?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
10, 20, I don't know.
Weird. Well, it's odd because I feel like I've only seen this one time, and it was when I was little.
Yeah.
And then I never saw it again because I was like, this is boring. And the alien is scary, and I didn't like it. So I just never watched. I don't know. I just never had an attachment to it or something.
Here's my theory as we were watching this tonight. This is a movie about kids for adults. I think like what happened with E.T. is that it was marketed as a children's film, and parents were like, yeah, kids are going to love this. But it really isn't. And it's mostly very scary to children and boring, as you said.
Yes.
And I like watched this tonight. Thought it was great. I'm like, damn, this is a good movie.
It's
as
good.
a kid.
Yeah, it has its moments.
Yeah.
I still think it's highly boring in some places, and I think that is because E.T. doesn't talk.
Right.
So there's a lot.
That's why I don't think it can be a kids movie because it's fucking boring.
Right. But then why did kids like this so much?
I don't think any kids really like this movie. Like I said, I think they like pushed it on children.
Okay, yeah, because I feel like there was maybe a lot of E.T. marketing involved, a lot of E.T. toys that ran around. I don't know. Strange. But yes, on this rewatch, it's a fine movie. It's good. There's a lot of good moments.
Yeah.
And
there's all these like little nuances, I feel like, that are very Steven Spielberg-esque that like you appreciate more when you're older.
Just say it. You cried again. We all know. Here she goes again.
Okay, how are you not supposed to cry when everyone in the scene is crying? Even the dog was crying.
The dog was not crying.
The dog was crying.
The dog was like, I'm hungry. I'm not sure about that. But anyways, I guess we don't have a ton of memories. As I just said, I saw this like one time. The one memory I did have, I'm embarrassed to say, was completely inaccurate. The one weird memory I had was like, I only remember that part where they're in the pizza parlor and they're eating.
What's that?
It's this movie, but it's their fucking dining room.
Oh, okay.
I thought there's like that lamp over the table that looks like a Pizza Hut lamp. Totally thought they were in a Pizza Hut, but I was wrong. They were in their kitchen. Yeah. So whoops.
I actually haven't seen this movie. I mean, I think a couple more times than you, but I remember, just really scared off from this movie from the E.T. sickness scene was so scary to me as a child. I was like, I'm wanting that shit again. Like, fuck that. That's not entertaining as a child. And like I said, there's just like nuances and like a nice message and meaning to this story that you don't get as a kid when you just want to be like wowed by shit. And E.T. is like ugly and scary. I'm sorry. Like, couldn't they pick a cuter alien? I mean, I'm just saying.
I was very confused throughout this whole movie.
The plot is confusing.
I kept being like, who are these guys with the keys? What is this?
Right.
Who are they doing? What is happening?
If we don't get it now, what do children think?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, this is not a children's movie. This was Steven Spielberg's wet dream of like trying to create some children's movie. Did not work. Gross. Still, most successful movie in its year did not get beaten out till Jurassic Park. So this movie was made in 1982.
Of all time.
Of all time. 1982.
Not of its year. Okay.
Was not beaten until Jurassic Park in 1990.
Another Steven Spielberg movie.
That fucker. Yeah.
He just does everything.
Like, then why did everyone... I mean, that's just so crazy that this became... And it said it was in the theater for a year. When does that happen?
What?
Oh,
I don't know.
Well, that's like an old-timey thing. Like, there's only 5 movies out ever, like a whole year. So, of course, you could play it for a long time. Yeah. It's like now, and it's like 5 a week.
Sure.
Anyways, so enough mumbo jumbo. Let's give a little bit of a synopsis. Okay. Ready?
Sure.
Sweetie synopsis. Yeah. Go E.T. Elliot. I'm just gonna have a kid and I'm gonna name it Elliot just so I can go Elliot. Be good.
Do you think the fast food chain Be Good got its name from E.T.?
You wish.
Good one. Okay. Elliot
No last name.
No last name. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I looked it
okay.
up.
Wow. Okay. Elliot stumbles upon. Sorry. All right. I'm starting at the beginning. Yeah. Redo.
Starting at the very beginning.
E.T., the extraterrestrial, and his family have landed in the forest in California somewhere. They are collecting plants for their weird sort of mushroom farm on their ship. I'm going to assume that they are moisture farmers, just like Luke Skywalker's
That was super
family.
weird. We were like, what are those things? I don't remember that part at all. I was like, are they in the ship?
Yeah,
Like, what is that?
It's weird. Unfortunately, some ragtag group of alien hunters or something and these men that wear keys, their belt loops,
Still unexplained.
very menacing.
The guy's character is literally called Keys.
Keys.
He does not have a name. You only see his carabiner hooked to his
You know what?
belt loops with keys.
They're so menacing,
Weird.
and I just hated them so much.
Yeah.
So-
I guess they're supposed to. Huh?
They come into the forest in their trucks, and they're like, aliens, let's get them. And then
How did they find them?
I don't know. They saw the they're tracking signals. I don't know. So
Unexplained.
the aliens are like, shit, we gotta get out of here. But E.T. gets sidetracked looking at a plant or something, and he's like really psyched about this tree in the ground. He's like, oh no, I have to go back. He seems like a dreamer, honestly. He's a dreamer.
E.T. the
A
dreamer.
His family's like, shit, we gotta go, pack it up. And they leave, and then E.T. gets left behind, and he's like, oh no, what do I do now? So he runs away into the safe abode of Elliot's shed. So one night, Elliot hears a ruckus, goes in there, sees these weird footprints, a ball like comes out. He's like, fuck, this is scary. He leaves. It's the weirdest synopsis yet. Okay. He tries to tell his family there's something weird in the shed. Come see. They go see and nothing's there. They're like, you're a loser. So he doesn't.
Ouch.
He's like,
his
fuck
problems.
you guys. Then he hears the noise again in the middle of the night and goes outside and sleeps in a chair until the thing comes back. He sees the thing run into the cornfield. He brings his flashlight, shines its light, and he's like, scary. It's an alien, you guys. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So he meets E.T.
Yeah.
And it's not love at first sight. It's
No.
scared at
he's
first
scary.
sight.
Because, as we said before, E.T. is fucking weird looking. What would you say E.T. looks like?
He looks like Morla from the Neverending Story.
His profile.
Like a big turtle.
It's turtle-like. He has these big eyes. He's like this like brown color, this giant long neck, this like fat football head.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really short with these like little web feet.
And he doesn't have any legs, so he's like a giant. Like it's a very impractical design for an alien.
Couple things with that design. They like modeled him after. This is like so random to me. Carl Sandburg, his face. Albert Einstein and a pug.
Wait, who's Carl?
I looked it up. I was like, wait
Sounds
a minute. What does he look
familiar.
like? I didn't get like the Albert Einstein part at all. But
Maybe just
this
his
is Carl
smarts.
Sandburg.
But who is he?
Oh, famous poet.
He's a poet.
Yeah.
What does he write? Have I heard of him? No.
Tons of poems. He wrote a big biography about Abraham Lincoln. Like the buffalo poem. There's like a buffalo poem.
Oh, the buffalo poem.
Yeah. 7th grade.
I don't know that.
Come on. Anyway, so he's like kind of funky looking. Anyway, so they connect though on a really hot, like a big level, and suddenly like Elliot is feeling everything that E.T. is feeling.
Well, he brings him into the house.
Yes. No, it's in his room. He fakes sick one day. He feeds him Reese's Pieces. He feeds him all this food, and they begin to connect, and he's like slowly telling him about the earth and like what things look like here and like all this stuff. Brings in his siblings. He's got two, a little sister named Gertie and his brother Michael. So then all the kids know, and they're like, ooh, we have this alien pet. And like they can't tell their mom. So then they're just like hanging out with the alien, like doing alien stuff. And they start learning like where he's from. They like show him a solar system. And obviously like E.T.'s like, dude, like I'm not from this fucking solar system. Points like way far away, makes clay balls like levitate
I think they were
to
just
show
balls?
where his little like
I'm not
galaxy was?
Still
Question
unclear
mark.
about that.
There's a lot of like fuzzy parts to this, and I'm like I said, like if we don't understand it, how the hell would you as a little kid? I have no fucking clue. Anyway, E.T.'s like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Let me build a telephone kind of thing to communicate with my family to come back and get me. Because like, was the theory that they forgot him and didn't know? They knew where he was.
They knew they had to leave or risk that they would all get found and studied or whatever. So they had to abandon him.
So wouldn't they eventually come back? I don't get the whole communication thing. I guess they need to know,
he had
like,
to tell them where he was
and
or
when
like
or
when.
something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows?
TBD. TBD.
Yes. So he builds the phone, and they bring it to the forest. They put it down. Unfortunately, E.T. starts getting very sick, which means that Elliot is getting very sick as well. And by sick, I mean dying, like a white thing.
Yeah.
Skinny, scary,
Disgusting.
gross.
He's like covered
It's
in like
gross.
white powder. So is that because he like can't live in this environment or something?
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
Okay.
So then the men come. The keys, I guess.
Yeah. So
Which I'm confused why they started the film in like shoddy pickup trucks in the woods and ended and they're the same guys in the suits.
Yeah.
Then why couldn't they use like nice cars to come and get them? I don't know. Anyways, so they come to the house. They got their NASA space. They're literally astronauts walking around their house, which I don't think is how that works.
yeah, that was the weirdest thing.
Shoddy detail. Anyways, they find E.T. dying in the bathroom, and they're like, fuck. They like quarantine the joint. They like zip up the whole house in plastic crap, and there's tubes everywhere. It's crazy. It's crazy. So much for not trying to make a scene about aliens. All the stuff we see.
Yeah.
Well, I guess just Men in Black.
Well, it's not even determined like who those people are.
Well,
Wait, did the thing say NASA on them?
Yes.
The astronaut suits?
Yeah.
Okay, so they are like supposedly from NASA.
Yeah, but I always thought like if aliens were a thing, they would make it like as least of a deal as possible, so that
Well, there was
nobody would
no
know.
need to do that.
Right.
Because then once he dies, spoiler alert, he dies, then they just like unzip the suits and they're like la-di-da. Like, wouldn't the shit, I don't know,
we don't need
like,
that.
wouldn't the shit
Yeah, I
still be
don't
all around?
I don't know. It's just a big scene.
Yeah.
So they study Elliot and E.T. and they find out that they're connected like through their brains or whatever. Unfortunately, they're both kind of dying. But then Elliot's like, E.T., don't leave. And then E.T. like gives Elliot his life, I guess.
Is that what happens? Yeah,
And
because
then
then he like
And
starts
then
healing
Elliot gets
immediately.
better. Yep. And then E.T. dies.
Right.
So they're like, no, E.T. And then Elliot's like, I love you. And then E.T. comes back to life. And so he tells his brother, and they make a plan.
Because you've left out the part, because I had this question too. Elliot's like saying goodbye to him. E.T.'s in this little like frozen like casket thing. He's put on ice to study later, I guess. And he's like, oh, E.T., like, this is so fun. You like mean the world to me. And he goes, I love you. And then his little heart lights up.
Yep.
And then he doesn't really notice it yet. But then there's this like plant that E.T. had saved. It was like all rotted. And he like has this ability to make things alive again, let's say, right? With his like energy or whatever. And so Elliot, the little plant, is in that room, and Elliot walks by the plant, and it has bloomed. It had died when E.T. died, and it bloomed again. And Elliot's like, wait a second. Runs to the weird little coffin thing, and E.T. is alive in there.
Yep. It's a very great moment.
Yeah.
So he's alive. So he tells his brother, yo, he's alive. We got to get him out of here. So
Because the ship is coming.
Yep, the ship is coming. So they like hijack the NASA van or something and drive. Mike sees his friends and is like, meet us at the playground on their bikes. So they go. They get out of the truck. They put E.T. in the basket. And then there's a great famous bike chase scene where the government people are chasing them on the bikes. They're almost cornered. And then E.T. makes them all fly. It's a great scene. It's great. A little emotional. You got emotional. Okay, thank you. We are done with that.
Definitely gives you the movie moment chills.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, that is like such
It's
a
great
classic movie,
Totally.
Hollywood scene. I just love it.
So they fly to the woods where the spaceship is. The spaceship's coming down. They're like, woo, we're back. And then E.T. says bye to everybody. It's very sad, very moving. As I mentioned, Sweetie cried.
So he wanted Elliot to come with him, though. forgot that part.
And Elliot wanted him to stay because they're like buds.
That was so cute.
I know.
Come, stay. Oh, it was so much crying.
The
Everyone
eternal
was crying.
question. Yes.
Oh my God. I read that actor, Henry, what's the actor's name? Henry Thomas Elliott. To get that audition, he like thought about when his dog died to cry like that.
God.
And Steven Spielberg gave it to him on the spot.
Oh,
He's like, "You're Elliot, let's go."
Too adorable.
Yeah, so they're all crying.
He's very adorable. So
and then E.T.
leaves.
takes his little flowers with him, and then like takes him like 8 years to waddle into the fucking spaceship. Though they should have speeded that shit up. Because we're like, okay, when's this movie over?
Work. That's why it's a very impractical design.
I read also to make that noise, some guy filled like a pair of pants with Jello.
The sound of him walking. Ew.
Bag and sag and buried.
New meaning to the term pudding pants.
Pants and pudding pants. That's what I was gonna say. Jello pudding pants. And then so the spaceship takes off and creates like a rainbow in the sky. And everyone's upset but happy because, E.T.'s gone. They're going to miss him, but he needs to go home.
And that's the end.
That's the end.
That's
really
the
a simple plot.
It is.
Not
it's
like
one of
a
our
lot.
more simpler
lot going on there.
plot rehashes.
Typical Steven Spielberg, where you have a child without a father, a lost soul, if you will. But I don't know. That family seemed like, the mom was like making it work. I thought the like little siblings were adorable.
They all had very big rooms. I think
God,
they
that
were doing
house
pretty
was
well.
Awesome. Like, can I have that house? So cool. I even like the decorating now. Usually you're like, 80s.
The rainbow blinds.
Yes.
Cool.
But yeah, so Elliot just was like, I don't know, just in this synopsis, like on IMDb, it's like a troubled child. Like, why is Elliot troubled? I don't know. I think he was just bored.
Right. We don't really get a lot about him before E.T. happens along. What I gathered, his troubled, if by troubled they mean letting the frogs escape during the dissection class, that was all because of E.T.
Troubled that like the kids in the beginning were smoking cigarettes and
Yeah.
playing poker and eating pizza.
Who are these animals? They were
Yeah.
like smoking cigs, drinking Fresca, and being wild.
That's why I always thought that brother was so much older, but like, he was
Yeah.
probably like 15, I guess, if he's driving, maybe.
well,
Sort of
practice
driving.
driving. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Fucking animals. And
Yeah.
that one kid with the headphones, like, take them
Yeah.
off, dude. Like, is he listening to music? I don't know. I think he's just like,
Were
has
those
headphones on.
headphones? Oh my
It's
God.
very
They were
weird.
like the size of pot holders on his head. Like, what?
So weird.
Anyway, so I don't know how we should approach this. Just like random stuff, favorite scenes,
Random stuff.
questions. Okay. So let's see. I already said that like the reason like I would not watch this after initial viewing as a child was because of sad E.T. So gross. I still am very troubled by that scene, and it's like just so like devastating. And they're like working on him like he's a person. Like they're trying to fix him, and like
They're like, give him epinephrine.
Yeah,
And
I'm like,
what? I'm like,
what?
listen, that's not going to work on him, okay?
does he even have the same organs? Like, does he have blood? Like, why does he even have blood?
They gave him they got a blood sample, and the guy was like, guess what, guys? He has like 6 nucleotides instead of like whatever they have. We have, and I don't know. But yeah, and I can understand. I remember a lot of my friends telling me that they were very troubled by this movie as children, and I can totally 100% see why, because of this scene. I think it's pretty safe to say that no one likes hospitals. Nobody likes people being sick.
Right.
So that scene kind of puts everything together. It's very traumatic. Elliot's dying. E.T.'s dying. No one wants to see that. So
Yeah. Even like on this watching, I was like kind of panicking a little bit. I was just getting like really like, oh God, just thinking of like for some reason dying.
well, that's what was happening.
I know. And just like, oh, like heart rate's going down, like bloop, time of death, like
There's all these white suit, like white.
It's just
people
really, and
and
once again, like I
masks
cannot imagine a little kid like, as like obviously we've just said many times now, traumatizing as a child. That's not something like you want to watch. This is not a children's movie, people.
Once again.
Yeah. So, what do you think your favorite scene is?
Well, I think this speaks mainly to the only thing that I remember from this movie is the Halloween scene. So they all dress up. It's part of their plan to go to the forest and plant the phone for E.T. to phone his home. to get him to come and rescue him. So they pretend that Gertie is dressed as the ghost, but it's really E.T. in a little sheet, and it's so funny. And E.T. like thinks that Mike wants to go dressed as a terrorist, and his mother is like, "No, you can't go as dressed as a terrorist." So he changes, right? Because that's not the terrorist costume.
So debatable. I don't know.
I think it's a hobo with a knife in his head.
So then, what was the terrorist costume?
So remember that one friend on the bike had like the ski mask? Maybe that was like they were like, "It's funny to pretend to be terrorist." This is obviously way pre 9/11, but I mean. I guess
what does a terrorist look like in 1982?
It was a funny thing back then. I don't know. So
like the Libyans,
right.
And
so we're not sure. So I think he goes dressed as a hobo with a knife in his head. Elliot goes dressed as a ghoul
with a sweatshirt on.
Is very, I'm going to say again. I thought of this another time we were watching a movie where I thought the costumes were very elaborate. Oh, Hocus Pocus. So when we were little. Costumes were not like there was another weird one I saw walk by, like a cat, like what was it? This guy walked by.
The zombie holding the dog?
Yeah, the zombie holding the dog. There was like something that looked like something from the Little Monsters.
Yeah. This is when they live in like this what is that? Like housing development. So it's like all these kids are just like trick-or-treating around the development.
Nobody dresses as that. Like you don't dress as weird shit like that. Like
the Yoda looks like an actual Yoda.
I think
from
it was
the movie.
Yoda. I think he was like, I'm gonna stop in over here. No, but yeah, it's weird shit. Like what happened in the good old princess? Like, I don't know. Yeah. That's my number one beef.
Well, Elliot went low budge. And like full circle, I was going to say like there's been an uptick of Elliot costumes in the last year. Whoa. My friend was at this past Halloween a couple years ago. I went to this party and my friend went as Elliot because it's just that red sweatshirt and you make like a little, my friend made one herself. My other friend like got the little kit that was just like a cardboard little milk crate with like the E.T. figure. With like a blanket over it. It was so funny. It's so effective, and she's like attaches it to her with a belt. So funny.
It's a good costume.
And she wore like a little black wig. It's hilarious.
But that scene is very funny.
Yeah,
it was like the only part where I like really laughed out loud. I feel like.
Well, I think
which is my beef with like there wasn't enough funny moments.
We laughed a lot. I felt like. There's like a lot of funny moments.
I guess.
I love, so mine is also the Halloween one for sure because I love when the mom's like freaking out like, you guys are so cute. And then like E.T. keeps trying to heal Michael because he thinks the knife in his head is like a real wound. He's like, stop that. I'm fine. It's a fake knife. And then the mom takes the picture and it's a Polaroid. So there's this big flash and E.T. passes out and he has these big clown shoes on. I mean, it's fucking funny. My other favorite scene is when they first, so Elliot like brings Michael and the little girl just comes in. Gertie just comes in and like just bursts into the room and just starts screaming at him. And then everybody starts screaming, including Michael, and like the bookshelf falls down. It's like, oh my God, it's so funny. I think the kids are so great in this. Like they are awesome. Like I've always loved the brother in this. I think he's so funny and he's like such a good brother.
Yeah,
like he's so much older, but he just like totally is like entranced with it too, even though he's like kind of bordering on adult at this point, and like helps him so much.
But how old is Elliot supposed to be?
Okay, so frog dissection.
Okay, well that was my thing. No, first of all, frog dissection isn't even a thing. Like nobody does that anymore.
Well, they did it then, though, right?
Not when you're as old as Elliot is supposed to be.
But he looked like scrawny. You don't think he was in middle school?
No, everybody else was tiny.
I think he was in middle school.
You do that in middle school?
No, we did in high school.
I never did it. You did frog dissection.
We never did frog. We did fetal pig and earthworm.
Yeah, but that was like biology, Claire, like AP biology, like different. I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't know anybody that's dissected a frog. Let's just say that.
I think it's outdated now. It's like, well, and this was so disturbing because in that scene, the science teacher's like, okay, and like pops chloroform-soaked cotton balls into the little jars all the frogs are in. So basically, chloroform doesn't kill you. That's just going to make the frogs pass out, and then you put a knife to them?
And dissect them while they're alive?
And the teacher's like, don't worry. Like, they're not going to feel anything. They won't feel pain.
Some straight up torture bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
so then that whole scene's so funky and one I didn't remember at all because so E.T. is at home and Elliot is at school, and because they're like feeling everything that E.T. feels, like Elliot feels as well. E.T.'s like eating all this food. He gets drunk because he has like a Coors beer, and Elliot is then drunk in class. And then I don't know if it like swings the other way because Elliot sees the frogs and has to release them and like flips out.
I guess it must because... Or he was feeling E.T. being like, I need to get home. I need to get out of here or something.
Was it that? Because then there's also the scene that E.T. is watching on the TV and like Elliot has to mimic it. And then he like kisses the girl in the class. Like, remember?
It's all very...
That was just weird to me.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really happen anymore after that. You're like, wait a minute. This is kind of weird.
They do like, yeah, it's odd. But yeah, that's a good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Questionable frog dissection.
I did remember that scene too because of all the frogs just like
I didn't remember that.
leaping about. Wait, I'm just
Strange.
remembering this movie called like Frog, where like a oh my god, what is it? There's like a prince that does get like turned into a frog, and it's like, do you remember this? Okay, I'm gonna look it up. We're watching it at one point.
And he gets dissected? Go on.
No, but there is something where like he hops into the class and is like gonna get it's like. He's like an Italian prince or something, and this girl, it's like a Princess and the Frog like riff on that. I'll look it up.
TV
I think it's called
movie?
Frog.
Look it up.
Look it up. Yeah. What else?
I thought it was funny how apparently all you need to contact aliens is a coat hanger, a speak and spell, and an umbrella with tinfoil. I'm not sure.
Do you remember Speak and Spells, by the way?
No, I mean, you mentioned that. You said we had one? I think that was before my time.
Yeah, I think
I
like
was a babe.
our older
I think I
sister
was a
would have
baby.
gotten it, and then I played around with
I
it.
mean,
when
I know
was a
them
kid,
from
too.
like pop culture today and stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't remember ever playing with
So
one.
it was like a weird little handheld thing. They were usually red, and the little computer voice would be like, spell, that's like a semi-easy word to spell.
Cat.
Spell cat. And then you'd be like, C-A-T. And then it'd be like, correct. So it just...
What'd you get? Like points? Nothing. No.
I don't know if it was
This is
like a
bullshit.
game.
This is a
Yeah,
bullshit
yeah.
toy. I thought... Oh,
Wait,
I
hold on.
thought
I have one more toy thing to bring up. Do you remember Alfie?
Yes.
I had that with the
Oh.
robot.
Oh, wait. I thought... Sorry.
No, it
I
was a
thought you
toy.
meant Elf.
No, it was like this little robot, and you like put little cards into its belly, and there was these little buttons on the side, and like the little Alfie would like say things, and then you would push the buttons that
Vaguely.
corresponded
This
with
is different than Teddy Ruxpin?
it. Yes. Oh my god, I had an Alfie.
All right, look it
my
up.
God.
I sort of remember that, but
Yes.
a little bit. But yeah, this movie is totally like 80s nostalgia in a little bucket, I guess.
In a
Or
bucket.
like, oh, look at that. Like all those Raggedy Ann dolls in the closet. And it just, reminded me of childhood. But yeah, pretty impressive that E.T. was able to make a telephone or whatever, a radar, I guess. Oh, Alfie. What? You had that?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
It had
That's
the
weird.
cards. I remember like the feel of the buttons.
I remember
on
the
side.
light bright. Light
Oh,
brights
man.
were cool.
Light brights are cool. Yeah, this was like, I love 80s nostalgia-ness of this movie. Had a little trivia fact about those Reese's Pieces that I told you when we were watching.
Yeah.
So originally, if everyone remembers, E.T. originally, that's how Elliot coaxes him into the house. He's Reese's Pieces, right? And E.T. like loves food and especially candy.
Well, first he leaves the trail of Reese's Pieces when he's trying to track him into the forest.
Oh.
And then E.T. picks them all up and brings
Yeah.
them back and like gives them back to him.
Okay, yeah. So originally they were going to use the Mars company who does M&Ms were going to be in the movie, and I guess they saw what E.T. looked like and they were like, shit, yo, that's scary. We don't want our candy like associated with that. Pulled out. And then they had to use Reese's Pieces. And then of course after this, like Reese's Pieces exploded and that company made so much money. So screw you, M&Ms.
Yeah, but I think M&M's is still the bigger man in this equation.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Quick question. Is it Reese's Pieces or Reese's Pieces?
Pieces.
Pieces.
What is a piecey?
Reese's Pieces, because it rhymes.
No, it's Reese's Pieces. It's pieces of Reese's.
We'll see about that.
It's spelled like pieces.
I know, but I feel like some people say pieces.
I think they do, and they're wrong.
I think like, I don't know. It just makes sense because it rhymes. I don't know.
Oh my god, you're crazy.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
Anyways, another thing I was going to say is whatever happened to salad bowls?
What are you talking about?
So first, like, you had the big wooden salad bowl, and then that big salad bowl came with little brown salad bowls.
Yes, I love
which were
a
like
good salad
not
bowl.
a thing anymore.
And then you would have the salad, like not tongs, but it was like a fork and a spoon.
And you put the salad in your
Yeah.
salad bowl, and then you eat the little salad bowl.
Well, I feel
and
like,
then
don't you feel like
your
the
main
classic
course.
dinner when we were growing up was like salad, bread, and then something else?
Yeah.
Probably like a
Yeah,
pasta
a
dish
pasta,
or something.
sure.
Or like garlic bread.
Pasta.
And like we definitely had a salad bowl.
I know.
With
That's
the
what
wooden
reminded
bowls.
me of this. And like
And it was like
old Italian
iceberg,
restaurants would have those little brown salad
Oh my God, I
bowls.
want some right now. Sometimes I just crave a really watery lettuce salad, like an iceberg lettuce salad.
It's fucking weird.
Oh,
No,
so
never crave salad. It's the
good.
devil.
What?
I don't know, man. I don't like salad.
cray,
I
you
think it's a
cray.
bullshit. I think it's a racket.
You cray.
Anyways, anything else? What do you got? What do you got?
Okay. So I have a couple more trivia facts here.
Uh-oh.
The plants that E.T. has.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if this is from in Elliot's room or the ones from the spaceship, but they said they were inflated condoms.
Must be the spaceship because those were fucking weird.
Yeah.
We were like, what are
It was like
those?
inflated condoms with polyester blooms.
Inappropriate. They say shit a lot in this movie also.
Or penis breath. Remember, like I'm gonna start calling that like to people.
That is vile. That is a vile.
Shut up, penis breath. It was kind of like they like dirty, some like dirty
that's what I'm
stuff
saying.
and swears
see,
and like
once again, not a kids
not
movie.
a kids movie. Fun fact:
Okay.
Michael Jackson owned one of the E.T. puppets,
Typical. That's
which apparently
sort of creepy.
the E.T. puppets and like everything surrounding him was like 10% of the movie budget, which is like a lot.
Huh.
Also, I want to bring up that other fact I told you about the who they put in the ET suit. I guess sometimes it was puppets, but when he had to move, they had to have a person inside of it. So it was either a 2-foot 10-inch stunt double, which wow, that is a short person.
It's like mini me.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Because he was pretty short. And then other scenes, it was a child who was born without legs and learned to walk on his hands. So like E.T. didn't have legs, so he like
did
the
have
kid would
legs.
like, but like feet or no, he didn't really have legs.
This explains why it was so terrifying.
Because if you like walked with like, your hands just
I
on the
don't
bottom,
like
like
that.
the legs.
Wow.
I know.
Scary.
Scary.
It's pretty messed up. It's wild.
Yeah. So some good trivia for this, obviously, like classic fucking film. Question:
Yes.
how hospitable would you be to an extraterrestrial?
You know, yeah, I struggle with this question, but it always brings me back to this time that I found this weird gerbil thing in the yard, and I put it in a box.
Was it alive?
Yes, and I was
Ew.
like, "This is my pet," and then I think it was a mouse, and
Oh,
I
sick.
put it in this box, and I was like, "It's gonna be mine," but then it chewed a hole and left. So, he didn't want to stick around.
Oh
but
my god, was I alive for this?
you're older than me. You've always been
Was
alive.
I in the house?
I'm just saying that kids love things that they like that are theirs. I always wish that my stuffed animal Spot, who's still around and on my bed right this moment, would come alive and be a real dog. Even though I had a real dog, there was just something about
That's like yours.
Yeah, that it's yours and wwhatever.
Remember when we had those fish that died like a day later?
Let's rephrase this. Mine died a day later. Yours, you didn't even like, and it lived for like 3 months. And I was very upset that mine died. I was so upset. My fish was the one anorexic fish in the whole world who wouldn't eat anything, and then fucking died a day
These
later.
were betas?
And then you were like, I hate my fish. And then and you like wouldn't feed it, and it just lived off its own shit and stayed alive for months.
months? What was yours
stayed
named again?
Oceana.
Yeah. Do you remember what my name was?
Annie.
Yes.
Now our friend's cat's name.
Because it was a red beta. And I remember when it died, I put it in this pink soap box that I had, remember? And we buried it in the front yard.
And we
And
dug
then
it
we
up.
dug it up, and it was fish bones.
And the eyes didn't, like, the eyes were still there.
Oh my god!
Ew.
I wonder how long that took. How long did we wait?
I don't think that long. It's it's fish. It's like the day.
That is funny. I remember that like it was yesterday.
But yeah, but kids love
That was
that.
our own
So,
ET moment.
Yeah. So I think that I would have taken the alien home. I wouldn't have called Inspector Keys or whatever, Mr. Keys, and had him come over. So, I would have been hospitable, I think. Yeah. I would have been like, Mom, look what I got.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you're totally right with like that's such a theme of movies, like kids like being like, you know, having your own little thing and your little buddy because like no one understands you and like blah blah blah. So way to hit the nail on the head. S squared, Steven Spielberg.
Here's a question: do you prefer the long-headed E.T. or the short?
Wait, what's the difference?
Sometimes he pulls his head gets longer.
I don't like the neck. The neck freaks me
I think it
out.
makes him look a little cuter. It makes his face look slimmer or something. But I will say that, in the beginning, he was quite scary and gross. By the end, I thought he got kind of cute. Maybe that's just because we know him better.
That's the thing. And that's why I like kind of regret saying like get a cuter alien, because I think that was sort of the point of it, that he was supposed to look like so crazy and that nothing like us and wasn't cute and cuddly. But then, and he's just has such a sweet little demeanor and he's just healing people and he really just wants to get back home. Like, you don't know. I mean, he's not like a boy or girl. Like, you really don't know. They're kind of like sexless, even though Elliot's like, it's a boy.
Funny if it was a girl the whole time.
You don't know how old he is. Like, I mean, he seems like a kid-ish.
Here's another question. Do you think E.T.'s family was like, so, what'd you do when you were on Earth? And he was like, well, let's see. I ate some Reese's Pieces. I learned about some Star Wars figures. Dismantled a spell and speak and spell, and made a phone. But thanks for fucking leaving me, you guys. Like, what the fuck?
I know, and I wonder what the time period was. How long was he there?
I think only a few days because it was
and
Halloween.
maybe an alien time that was like a few minutes. You know what I mean? Like time's so different.
And they were like, oh, he's back, he's there, we got him.
Yeah,
because maybe they thought he got captured, so that's why they left too.
Yeah.
So they couldn't. But then they were like, oh, he's still alive. We gotta go back and get him. Maybe there was like the Force, like Luke and Leia style. She was like, we gotta go back. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting too with all these different movies that feature aliens. Obviously, this one is like such a classic in now like movie time, and now there's been like a lot more. And I mean, obviously, this one seems probably the least realistic of what actually is out there. I mean, I'd love to think there's like little ETs. And then I was talking today with someone about like the other Steven Spielberg alien movie, Close Encounters. Snooze fest. Like, hate how that movie is like supposed to be like, oh, this like big alien one, and it's so boring.
Well, that maybe you need to see it again. I think it's probably a great movie, but you just saw it as a little kid. All you remember is the like,
the Simon Says like,
and the kid out the doggy door, and
scary. Yeah. Well, it's just like I don't know, and like I just don't feel like there's like a ton of point to that movie, because now there's like all like Contact, like that's such a cool like alien film, and the one that just came out, Arrival, like that's a really neat concept too. So this one is just more, I mean, quote unquote, for kids. You gotta like,
there's lots of concepts. So many concepts. Are they good? Are they bad? Do they just want to know about us? Do they want to study us? Are we really the bad guys? It's it's a very interesting subject that I don't think will ever fully go away.
Right.
Because we don't obviously know anything about actual aliens. So
I know, and it's just interesting how people think up what they look like, and like I feel like that must be based on something.
Do you think they're aliens?
Of course. I don't think like we're ever gonna see them, but
yeah.
But like, why haven't they made contact? If we haven't made contact, I get it, because we're like stupid and slow and like we have all these problems. But like, you're telling me every place in like the whole universe is like that and beyond? No.
I don't know, sweetie. I don't know.
I mean, hopefully it's not like Independence Day. That's all I can say.
Or Mars Attacks.
Ugh.
Scary.
I would like to have I think there should be a line of the Elliot sweatshirts. I'm really into those.
Don't you have one?
An Elliot sweatshirt?
Is it just a red sweatshirt?
Well, I like the gray one he had. I like the red one.
It's just like a normal sweatshirt. Any sweatshirt with a hood. I don't know. Any sweatshirt with a hood, zip up.
And there's like a lot of hoodie sweatshirts in this.
I'll buy you one like tomorrow. Yes. I'm sure I can find one.
I really need a red one. Like I have a light green one. I have a gray one. And I really like the zip up.
Big dreams.
My birthday's in a couple months. Send me a sweatshirt. Thanks, guys.
Elliot.
I think we should end this podcast with our one anecdote about this
movie. Yes.
Let's start it.
Okay. So, on our trip to Florida one year, I think I was in second grade. and you were in 7th, 6th, no, 5th.
We
No.
went in
I was
6th grade.
2nd grade.
Yeah, we
so
went
you
in
were in
6th
6th grade. So we went to Universal Studios where they have the E.T. ride. So we go on the E.T. ride, and at the beginning, they ask you to say your name into this. I forget.
Yeah.
It was like a thing.
Or type it in. Don't you type it in? I think it was a
thought
type.
you said it.
No,
I don't-
you type it in because of what happens later.
Yeah.
And
So-
what was that ET ride? Do you remember like what it consisted of?
Well, you're just like on a bike, and you're like, but it's like they're all connected to each other.
Yeah.
And I think there's bar. I don't know, but so yeah, you're kind of it's the bikes chase scene essentially. So you're like in the street, whatever, and then you go up and you fly, and then your bottom, I think, goes down,
And
or
it's, like,
it just
really-
makes you feel like.
Yeah.
Then you're in the stars.
Yeah,
and
it's
you're-
like a really pretty like skyscape, and you feel like you're flying.
Yeah.
And blah, blah,
So
blah.
then the very end, E.T.'s there, and he's waving to everybody, and he says everybody's name as you go by. So as you typed in your name or said it or whatever, he says it by. So the E.T. was like, "Goodbye, Ron. Goodbye, Emily. Goodbye, Carol. Goodbye, Andre." And then because there was like some foreign people around, he'd be like, "Goodbye, Rajib. Goodbye, Xinjiang."
Goodbye, Julio. It's so great. I mean, it's a small world after all. It was like everyone coming together, and it was like, but it was hysterical. Goodbye, Muhammad. Swear it was something like that. It was so great.
It was.
Cracked up.
And like as a child, I was like, "Oh my god, he knows my name!" You know, it's like, well, obviously, if you said your name at the beginning.
Emily. Yeah, it's funny that even though you've only seen this once, like it's in the cultural
Yeah, it's such a pop culture
zeitgeist
thing. But yeah, scary. Those noises he made were very scary.
Yeah,
I didn't like them at all.
I know. And then in the trivia I read, it was like,
I don't know if I believe this.
yeah, this is kind of a weird one. So they said the majority of them were this woman who they got. They only paid her, first of all, $360, which is like
Bullshit.
sucks if she's that lady. She had like a 2-pack a day smoking habit, so her like voice was super raspy. So I'm pretty sure she was the parts that were like, Elliot.
Elliot. Oh no.
And then they use like some animal noises because he makes all these like weird little like squeaks and shit.
Well, no, it's the part when he's scared that always scared me. I was like,
Yeah. I'm telling you, freaky alien.
freaky ass shit. Yep. Freaky ass shit. Freaky ass shit.
So gross.
Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else I wanted to cover. Medical intermission. Ugh. Covered that. I guess that was it. Damn. But yeah, I'm glad to have finally seen this the whole way through.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. Great, obviously, score by John Williams, that famous little song that we sang at the end. He won the Oscar for that, and then went on, obviously, to win Oscars for like every single score he ever did.
He didn't win an Oscar for Star Wars, or
Ready? Quick game. Star Wars theme. Go.
oh no. Do 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 do.
Indiana Jones.
Dun 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 dun.
E.T.
Do 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 do.
Jaws.
Dun 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 dun. Yay! I did it! I
Wow,
won.
you're so good at that.
Yeah, I've been
You must have
practicing.
had practice.
I've been practicing on the shower
Like
every
all
day.
day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. So, guys, watch E.T. Relive your childhood. It's a
Don't
good one.
hate. Don't hate.
Don't
Don't hate.
Haters gonna hate. E.T.'s a good movie. You should watch it. Yeah.
He's a little scary, but he's kind of cute in the end.
And he eats Reese's Pieces and screams a lot. Then he dies and he's covered in chalk. And you're like, ew, scary.
But he doesn't die. He's alive because Elliot's like, I love you.
And they use a speaking spell to communicate to the alien family.
And they come and pick him up and the movie's over. Na 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 na.
Na na na.
Na na na. Na na na. Good one.
Best song ever. Okay, we're going to stop now.
We're great.
Time to go to
That's great.
bed.
Okay. Thank you for listening. Please do us a huge favor and leave us a review on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at the Sweetie Club. Follow us on Instagram at
Large Marge Sent Us.
and like us on Facebook. Thank you for listening. Catch you
Thanks,
next
guys.
time.
Bye.